We all know YouTube as the world's largest video sharing platform, with over 2.5 billion monthly users and an estimated 14 billion videos. But did you know it started as a dating site? So, how did three young men in their 20s, working out of a garage, turn a failed idea for a dating site into a company worth over $450 billion? This is the incredible story of YouTube. Chad Hurley was born on January 24, 1977, in Reading, Pennsylvania. Chad's parents nurtured his creative interests from a young age, allowing him the space to explore both the arts and technology. His father, a financial consultant, encouraged discipline and focus, while his mother, an elementary school teacher, supported Chad's curiosity and hands-on approach to learning. Growing up in a small town didn't deter Chad from thinking big. He was an active member of his high school's technology club, where his fascination with media and design truly blossomed. As a teenager, Chad found himself captivated by the early days of the internet and the growing world of digital design. He spent countless hours experimenting with graphic design software, developing a sharp eye for aesthetics and user interface design, skills that would later become essential in his career. At Indiana University of Pennsylvania, Chad pursued a fine arts degree with a focus on design. During his studies, he refined his skill in crafting visually appealing, user-friendly interfaces, driven by a fascination with how design could improve user experiences. Chen was born on August 25, 1978, in Taipei, Taiwan. His early life was marked by a major shift when his family immigrated to the United States when Steve was 8 years old. The Chen family settled in Prospect Heights, Illinois, a Chicago suburb. However, moving to a new country wasn't easy for Steve. Not only did he have to adjust to a new culture and language, but he also had to navigate the challenges of being a young immigrant in an unfamiliar environment. Despite these challenges, Steve found comfort in technology. His parents, both hard-working professionals, encouraged their son's growing interest in computers. From the moment Steve encountered his first personal computer, his life would never be the same. He spent countless hours tinkering with hardware and writing basic code, teaching himself how to create programs and fix technical issues. His natural talent with computers led him to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, which had a reputation as one of the top engineering and computer science schools in the country. Steve thrived in this academically rigorous environment, where he met Jawed Karim, a fellow tech enthusiast who shared his passion for programming and innovation. Jawed Karim's journey to the United States began in East Germany, where he was born on October 28, 1979, to a Bangladeshi father and a German mother. His early life was defined by political upheaval and the challenges faced by families living behind the Iron Curtain. In the early 1980s, Jawed's parents made the difficult decision to flee East Germany in search of a better life. They eventually settled in Minnesota, where Jawed spent most of his childhood. Like Steve, Jawed had to adjust to a new country, but he quickly found his footing in the American education system. Jawed displayed an exceptional interest in computers and technology from a young age. He spent hours dismantling and rebuilding computers, learning to code long before most of his peers had even touched a keyboard. By the time he reached high school, Jawed had a deep understanding of how computers worked and was already dreaming of a future in technology. However, Jawed's path to studying computer science wasn't as straightforward as one might think. After applying to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign's prestigious computer science program, he was initially rejected and assigned to study ceramics engineering instead. Jawed was crushed but refused to accept this as his fate. Determined to pursue his passion for technology, he wrote to the admissions office, pleading with them to reconsider his application. His persistence paid off, and he was eventually accepted into the computer science program, a decision that would go on to shape his future. It wasn't long before the paths of Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim converged. By the late 1990s, all three found themselves drawn to Silicon Valley, a hotspot for innovation and the emerging tech scene. After the tech bubble burst in 2000, the valley was still filled with startups looking to disrupt industries and change the way people use the internet. In 1999, PayPal, a fast-growing startup aiming to revolutionize digital payments, began to recruit young talent with fresh ideas and technical skills. Chad Hurley joined PayPal's ranks as a designer, leveraging his graphic design expertise to create user-friendly and visually engaging interfaces. He also played a key role in developing the PayPal logo, which would become iconic in the world of online payments. Meanwhile, Steve Chen and Jawed Karim, both graduates of the University of Illinois, were recruited to PayPal for their technical expertise. Steve became a core member of the engineering team, helping to build the technical infrastructure that allowed PayPal to scale as it became the leading online payment platform. Jawed, on the other hand, took on the complex challenge of developing PayPal's real-time anti-fraud detection system, a critical component in the company's fight against fraudulent transactions. The fast-paced and high-stakes environment at PayPal was the perfect breeding ground for innovation. Long hours, intense competition, and a shared belief in the power of technology brought Chad, Steve, and Jawed closer together. While working side by side at PayPal, they began to realize their complementary skills. Chad's design sense, Steve's engineering prowess, and Jawed's knack for solving complex problems made them a strong team. In 2002, after years of intense growth and competition, PayPal was acquired by eBay for $1.5 billion, a landmark deal that signaled the company's dominance in the online payment space. The acquisition led to significant changes within the company, and many of its early employees began to feel the pressure of working under a corporate giant like eBay. Chad Hurley and Jawed Karim decided to leave PayPal shortly after the acquisition. Both felt it was the right time to move on and explore new opportunities. Steve Chen, however, stayed on for a while longer, taking on the challenge of helping PayPal expand into the Chinese market. But after completing this monumental task, Steve too felt it was time to leave PayPal and pursue something new. Despite their individual departures, the bond they formed at PayPal remained strong, and it wasn't long before they would reunite to embark on a new venture, one that would change the landscape of the internet forever. After leaving PayPal, Steve Chen joined Facebook, a fast-growing tech company that would soon dominate the social networking world. It was an exciting time, but Steve had a growing desire to start something of his own. After just a few months at Facebook, Steve left and began thinking about launching his own venture. Shortly after, he reached out to his former PayPal colleagues, Chad Hurley and Jawed Karim, to see if they were interested in starting a business together. Both Chad and Jawed were excited by the idea, and the three began meeting regularly at a local cafe in Silicon Valley to brainstorm ideas. They discussed various concepts, but one in particular stuck out to them: creating a dating site where users could upload and share videos of themselves. The inspiration for this idea came from a dating site called Hot or Not, founded by Jim Young and James Hong. Hot or Not allowed users to upload pictures of themselves to be rated by others. What fascinated Steve, Chad, and Jawed wasn't just the site's popularity, but its ability to let regular people upload their own content, a fairly new concept at the time. Hot or Not's success came largely from its business model, where hundreds of thousands of users paid a $6 monthly fee to access the platform. Although Steve, Chad, and Jawed admired the financial success of this model, they were more intrigued by the concept of user-generated content. They wondered, what if, instead of photos, people could upload videos? The trio quickly rallied around this idea and began to sketch out the details. They named their new platform YouTube, with U representing the user-generated content and tube as a reference to television. Steve and Jawed worked on the technical side, while Chad focused on designing a simple, intuitive interface. Starting a video sharing site, however, was far from simple. Back in 2005, internet bandwidth was limited, and watching videos online was a cumbersome process. Downloading just a handful of videos could eat up vast amounts of data, and the variety of video file formats meant users often struggled to find the right player for their system. The breakthrough came when the team realized they could leverage a new web browser plugin called Flash Player 8. This version of Flash had a powerful video codec that compressed video files to a manageable size and allowed them to play directly in the browser, eliminating the need for cumbersome downloads or specific players. It was free and widely used, with over 98% of computers already having Flash installed. With this technology in hand, YouTube's founders could now focus on building a platform that automatically transcoded user videos into a universal format that would play instantly across different browsers. They had solved a technical problem, but they still had a long way to go. In the midst of developing YouTube, the founders encountered their first major threat: Google Video. Google had just announced plans to launch its own video sharing platform, which allowed users to upload content and choose whether it could be viewed for free or paid for. Google Video also required videos to meet specific technical standards, making it a more cumbersome process for users. The YouTube founders were concerned that Google's vast resources and reach could outpace them. But after careful consideration, they decided to push forward, reasoning that YouTube's simplicity and user-first design gave them a competitive edge. 1 month later, YouTube went live. Despite their enthusiasm, the initial launch of YouTube was slow. Even after pitching the platform to major tech publications like Wired, the response was lukewarm. Desperate for traction, the founders even posted ads on Craigslist, offering women $20 to upload videos of themselves. Not a single person responded. In an effort to populate the site, Jawed began uploading random videos, including clips of planes and animals at the zoo. While these early uploads weren't aligned with the founders' original vision, something unexpected happened. Other users began uploading their own personal videos. People started sharing everything from family moments to their pets and vacations. Steve, Chad, and Jawed quickly realized that they needed to pivot. Instead of focusing on dating videos, they would allow users to upload any type of content they wanted. YouTube would become a general video sharing platform. Following the pivotal decision to pivot from a video dating platform to a general video sharing site, YouTube began gaining traction. The embedding feature, which allowed users to share videos across other websites like MySpace, significantly accelerated YouTube's early growth. As MySpace users began embedding personal videos in their profiles, YouTube's traffic increased exponentially. This viral phenomenon played a major role in the platform's early success. However, the costs associated with YouTube's skyrocketing growth quickly became a significant challenge. As the number of videos uploaded and viewed on YouTube grew, so did the cost of bandwidth. Video files, which require substantial data to stream, were draining the founders' resources. Steve Chen, who was personally funding the platform, had maxed out his credit cards, trying to cover the mounting expenses, and despite several requests, his bank finally cut him off. Faced with the financial burden, Steve, Chad, and Jawed needed to act fast. They began recruiting some of their former PayPal colleagues to help with YouTube's growing technical demands. However, with no pay and limited resources, this arrangement wasn't sustainable in the long term. The founders quickly realized that in order to scale, they needed outside investment. Despite YouTube's early success, convincing investors of its value proved to be a difficult task. When Steve, Chad, and Jawed pitched the idea to various venture capital firms, they were met with skepticism. Many investors dismissed YouTube as cute, doubting its value and viability in a competitive online landscape. The founders were undeterred. They continued to push forward, determined to secure the funding they needed to keep YouTube alive. Their persistence eventually paid off when an unexpected opportunity presented itself. At a casual barbecue hosted by Mike Greenfield, PayPal's first data scientist, Jawed Karim bumped into Keith Rabois, PayPal's former VP of Business Development, who was now working with Sequoia Capital, one of Silicon Valley's most prestigious venture capital firms. During their conversation, Jawed mentioned YouTube and its growing popularity, describing how their innovative video transcoding and embedding features were reshaping how people shared videos online. Intrigued, Keith referred YouTube to Roelof Botha, Sequoia Capital's partner and former PayPal CFO. Roelof decided to give YouTube a try, uploading some personal videos from his honeymoon to see how the platform worked. He was impressed with how simple and intuitive it was to share videos, and after a positive experience, he set up a meeting with Steve, Chad, and Jawed. At the meeting, the founders presented their vision for YouTube as the future of user-generated content. They explained the rapidly increasing user engagement and demonstrated how YouTube's metrics were doubling each week. Roelof saw the potential and quickly advocated for Sequoia to invest. In November 2005, Sequoia Capital invested $3.5 million in YouTube in exchange for a 30% stake. This cash infusion not only allowed the team to pay off their debts, but also gave them the resources they needed to hire engineers, expand their infrastructure, and move out of Chad's garage into an actual office. With the Sequoia investment, YouTube's trajectory was set on an upward path. By early 2006, the site was receiving 8 million views per day. However, with success came a slew of new challenges, the biggest of which was copyright infringement. As YouTube gained popularity, users began uploading copyrighted content, including television clips and music videos, which soon attracted the attention of major media companies. NBC Universal was among the first to issue a legal threat to YouTube. The network discovered that users had uploaded around 500 clips of the popular show Saturday Night Live, including the viral Lazy Sunday sketch. NBC demanded the removal of all infringing content or threatened to sue. In response, YouTube's team acted quickly. They developed a system that allowed copyright owners to easily flag infringing videos and partnered with Audible Magic, a company specializing in video and audio identification technology. These steps helped ease tensions with media companies, and in an unexpected turn of events, NBC was so impressed with YouTube's swift action that they later decided to promote their TV shows on the platform. In addition to dealing with legal issues, YouTube faced an unexpected threat from MySpace. Robert Murdoch, the founder of News Corp, had recently acquired MySpace and viewed YouTube as a direct competitor to his plans for launching MySpace Video. Without warning, MySpace began censoring YouTube links and blocking embedded videos from appearing on its platform. Steve, Chad, and Jawed were not equipped to take on such a large entity, but instead of backing down, they decided to fight back. They rallied YouTube's growing user base, encouraging them to contact MySpace directly. Hundreds of users flooded MySpace with emails and phone calls, demanding that they stop blocking YouTube. The pressure worked, and within a few days, MySpace lifted the ban. With MySpace no longer standing in their way, YouTube's user base continued to grow at an unprecedented rate. By mid-2006, the site had grown from 8 million views a day to 35 million. In July, YouTube raised an additional $8 million in funding from Sequoia and Artis Capital Management, which allowed them to scale even further. By the end of the year, YouTube was handling over 100 million views a day. With the influx of content creators uploading everything from music covers and beauty tutorials to short films and comedic skits, YouTube had become a cultural phenomenon. But with growth came mounting expenses. The cost of servers, bandwidth, and legal battles was pushing the company to its limits. While YouTube had yet to figure out a solid revenue model, the platform's immense potential couldn't be ignored. As YouTube continued to dominate the online video sharing space, Google's own video platform, Google Video, was struggling to gain traction. Seeing the explosive growth of YouTube, Google's leadership took notice and decided it was time to act. In October 2006, Google announced its acquisition of YouTube for $1.65 billion in stock. For Steve, Chad, and Jawed, the sale to Google not only secured YouTube's future, but also cemented their status as tech pioneers. Google's resources would allow YouTube to expand its infrastructure, tackle legal challenges, and continue growing without the financial strain that had plagued the company in its early days. From a scrappy startup conceived in a cafe, YouTube had become one of the most visited websites in the world, reshaping the way people consumed and shared video content online.